Cool. Well, welcome to some Fantasy Happy Hour episode 18, I believe this one will be. Thanks to everyone watching the Thursday ones. Those ones are doing really good. So, yeah, if you're liking it and seeing value, we're getting some more and more engagement and comments, which is great. So thank you. If you have any picks or anyone you want us to look out for next time or any insight, let us know. Thanks to the person who downvoted the video. It was very nice of you. We're just a small channel. Come on, man. That was rude. But yeah, let's hop into some week 9 action here. Taryn, what do you got for some quarterback?
I'm staying up top with the pricing model here in DraftKings. I didn't like going past below 7K. So all the guys I like are up top. It starts with the number one guy last week, Patrick Mahomes against Carolina. He's thrown the ball just a ton, and they're having no issues moving the ball down the field. You can stack them with Tyreek Hill. You can stack them with Kelsey. We saw Julio be wide open against Carolina last week on that Thursday nighter. So I just don't see Mahomes having a bad game. I see another 3, 4, 5 touchdown game. But he is 8,100, so he is price prohibitive. And then Russell Wilson, one of my favorite plays this week again. He has just been red hot. He's up against Buffalo, whose secondary hasn't looked as good as they were expected to be. I like the stack with Tyler Lockett. Check out our Instagram video for a little more detail on that. But he's 500 cheaper than Mahomes, and I just think that's a better play for the price on DraftKings. So what quarterbacks are you looking at, Justin?
Well, see, we didn't really communicate too well, and I did 2 picks last week. You did 1. This time I did 1. You're doing 2. It's kind of decent, though. I did not go off the board. I went with my safe pick of Deshaun Watson. However, I didn't have him as my receiver. I was cognizant of that. But he's averaging 31 fantasy points a game right now. They're playing Jacksonville this week. Minshew's out. I don't even know who the other guy they're playing is. I forget the name. So I could so I could just, I don't know. I feel like Houston, this will be kind of one of their ones to actually get that offense firing on all cylinders, hopefully. If it gets out of hand, then, might not be the best pick because, they might be handing it off to both the Johnsons a lot. But yeah, I didn't go off the board. I stuck with Deshaun. But yeah, running back, I'll just touch on mine real quick before let you hop into yours. I have Derrick Henry versus the Bears. I know. 18 rush attempts last week, though, 112 yards and a TD, which is a slower week for him. So I kind of like it. I don't know how widely owned he'll be. But he's a popular player anyways, puts up lots of points. I'm sure it will be. Maybe in this, again, with this matchup, though, more people will fade him. Might be an odd combo. But yeah, what are you thinking?
I actually think you're in the right realm of he'll be under-owned this week because he's getting the Bears matchup. And you can go up to the guy I have on my list in Dalvin Cook. He's playing against the 32nd ranked defense here in Detroit. He had 4 touchdowns last week. He got the ball over 30 times. And that's just what Minnesota likes to do. They just run the ball first. And if they don't have to throw, they don't want to. So they're just going to keep running Dalvin Cook. I see another 2-3 touchdown game here. He's the guy that gets it on anywhere within the 5. He's getting it 2 to 3 times, even if they're on third down. It's just his team and his offense. And then Justin Jackson for the LA Chargers. He has kind of taken over as the lead back role. Vegas' defense is ranked 22nd against the run. They haven't been great. Justin Jackson's getting a lot of targets, 3 and 5 in the last 2, and 20 touches a game, which is what I want out of a running back at a cheap price, and that's 4,900 on DK. So that's where I like to go there. And then I'll touch on my wide receiver because I'll keep it short. I have Tyler Lockett here, but like I said before, go look at our Instagram post and you can kind of see my analysis on why. He has a great corner matchup. And then the other play I like is for the Bears, actually, is 2 of their wide receivers kind of pick one because they're both cheap. Darnell Mooney and Anthony Miller. And both are seeing targets. Like last game, it was 6 and 11 between the 2 of them. They were losing, so they did have to throw quite a bit. But they're getting a lot of volume, and they're only 4K and 3.9K on DraftKings. So great way to save money in a game and kind of stack it with Jackson or stack it up against Tennessee with Henry or some sort of combination of those 2. But I really like the usage for those 2 receivers in Chicago. But what are the wide receivers you're liking? Are we Fuller? Is it Fuller season?
No, I didn't pair it with thankfully he stayed too. I'm glad he didn't go to the Packers. Speaking of, just touching on this briefly, how boring is an NFL trade deadline compared to hockey? There's 3 trades. How stupid.
Yeah, I know.
Like
I
I was
agree.
so disappointed. I was like, how dumb. Like, come on. Get I mean, I'm lucky it's one of the most popular sports in the world, but um yeah, I didn't pair it with a quarterback this week because I wanted to keep it, maybe a little bit different. But I was being a bit of a dick, and I just went with Metcalf instead of your Lockett just to be funny.
Yeah.
But he had 15 targets last week, 12 receptions, 161 yards, and 2 TDs. I mean, I think you're safe with either one of those guys. I mean, you already have Russell Wilson. You if people really want to look into it, they can refer to the Instagram post there with your analysis on why you think Lockett will be the better pick of the two. But I think either way, this train's rolling, and you just want to keep riding it.
I would agree.
Yeah, I'll touch on my tight end. I kind of went, I don't know if it's off the board, maybe. Probably not. I went Hayden Hurst versus the Broncos.
Yeah.
It was a quiet week last week, 5 for 7, 54 yards, no TD. But Broncos are coming off the big comeback game. Both teams are bad, and I could see it. I'm leaning that it's going to be on the higher scoring side. Maybe not a shootout per se, but Ridley's out. I don't know how long he's been out, or if it's new or what. Didn't follow that closely. But I feel it's a cheap pick. Could be different, and it's going to be probably an overlooked game, maybe, in my opinion. I was leaning between him and what's his name, Fant on the Broncos. I feel like either way you're going to get more or less same results. But yeah, what are you looking at for tight end?
That was actually my first tight end, was Hayden Hurst. Exact same logic. I really like this game. And actually, if you're looking for a cheaper wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy had 10 targets last game too. I don't like picking these quarterbacks, but I really like picking pieces of this game a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it will score and be a lot of moving of the ball, per se, like a lot more targets, completions. And for just some knowledge on Hayden Hurst a little more, he has such a high floor. He averages like 10 points a game. He gets his 10 points. It may not be better, it may not be worse, but he gets you 10 points. And in a tight end year that's so low scoring, like that's awesome to have 10 points locked. But I picked Jonnu Smith coming off 2 bad performances in a row, going up against Chicago here. And the defense in Chicago was really good against everything except the tight end typically. So if you look at most of their game logs, it's mostly the tight ends going off against Chicago. So that's where I like this matchup. And Jonnu's had a couple bad weeks. I don't see ownership going there, and he's relatively cheap now, 3,900. So maybe we'll see another 2-touchdown Jonnu game come back. But bouncing over to the defenses, and there's a defense priced at 4,900 on DK. And the Steelers going against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys are using 2 practice squad guys now, and they're having them battle to see who's going to play this week. They're sitting Danucci. And, like, this Cowboys team is just a disaster. Like, I don't even know. They shouldn't even be in the league this year. They're so bad. This could be the biggest defensive scoring performance I think we'll see. Like, I could see, like, 9 sacks, 4 picks, 3 fumbles. Like, this could be insane because – you got the best defense in the league going against 2 practice squad quarterbacks who might maybe play 1 or 2. I don't know who will play in that game, but I can't see it going well for Dallas. And then I like the Giants on the cheaper end. They've averaged 2 or more sacks every game. They get Washington, and Washington's susceptible to having a bad game here and there. But do you have a defense you like more than the others?
We're thinking alike because I have Steelers, 1 TD, 4 interceptions, 2 sacks last week. Priced great. Dallas says, I think it's going to be Garrett Gilbert starting. What is eating Garrett Gilbert? So I same logic as you. I think it'll be sloppy. Either that or like watch like the biggest upset in recent history.
And I don't think they'll be owned because of their price. That's the nice part. They're so expensive. They're priced the same price as like your second best wide receiver. Like they're almost $5,000.
Yeah, and so I was thinking the same logic as you. I think that'll be kind of a fun game to watch. Well, at least the first half, anyways, and then after that, it might be boring. Flip between, or I'm sure you'll get lots of action on Red Zone if you have Red Zone at all. That should be a fun one. But if you don't have anything else to touch on for this one, we just got to touch on that Taryn, who's our active DK member here. He's the one doing a lot of the lineups. Had quite the big week here. What a successful week! If you're listening to the picks here, I don't know what Taryn had, but $60 in lineups into like 1,500 Canadian or something. Quite the day for him. But yeah, if you're watching this, give us a subscribe or a like. That'd be sweet. Maybe leave a comment. Tell us how dumb we are, how smart we are. If we helped you with any picks. And yeah, tune into the next Monday nighter. It might be a little bit of a boring one. Jets.
It is.
Jets, New England. Let's go.